This is our welcome session cover page. So who are we? What is LBL? So I'll begin by saying London Blockchain Labs is a student-run social enterprise based at the world's leading universities. We have a community of roughly 4,000 plus. We're based at currently UCL, LSE, Imperial, and London Business School. We also work with some people from King's University and some other universities around London. Our team isn't exclusively from these unis, but it's mostly comprised of the blockchain societies at those universities. In the call, we have the presidents of the UCL LSE societies. The Imperial president's currently studying from Japan, so his time zone's a bit inconvenient, so he couldn't make it. And we also have our previous UCL president, who's now at London Business School, on this call as well. So you get to hear from all of our team. So yeah, our mission is to be the center point of London's blockchain ecosystem. And that we really mean that, in that if you think anything blockchain in London, you can kind of come to LBL and you will find the right person you'll be put in touch with the right person, or you'll kind of have the ground point to then go and do whatever you want to do in the blockchain industry. And we quite like that at LBL because it's quite flat, and it's a lot of, if you want to do something, or if you want to bring something to the table and you want to lead an initiative, feel free and do it. You can use the LBL name. But yeah, just as long as you keep us in good stead, we don't mind what you do, and we want to help support you in your ambitions and what you want to do within LBL. We also build a student community, and we're trying to build that more and more this year. We set up our Discord server recently to help build our markets community. And I'll be admitting people throughout the call from the waiting room. And yeah, we've built quite a big community over the years, and our name is fairly recognized, and we're very proud of the community we have, and let's keep it going. If you join us, you'll be helping us build that. So this is our core committee from last year. You can see me right in the middle over there. This was actually at LSE. So we had every time we hire the core team, we'd end up doing a blockchain bootcamp. And that will be a series of lectures from both students, including myself and some of our other team members, and also some professionals in the space who will come and visit externally. And they will talk about various different things, from where did blockchain come from? What are the founding principles? How does Bitcoin work? What is DeFi? What is decentralized finance? Why has there been so much hype around that? And then even from a more technical perspective, such as how can you manage identity via blockchain, or look into using derivative platforms on blockchain, where we had a company come in last year and talk about. So I actually think it would be quite good to have a little introduction from some of our team members who are on the call right now. So I will who wants to go first? I'll hand over to one of our team. Elaine, would you like to give an introduction?
Sure. Hi guys, I hope you can see me. I am Elaine. I am currently a master's student at London Business School, doing a master in management. I sort of got into blockchain through a consulting project I worked on at another society. And through that project, I found myself being super fascinated about the concept and how it can fundamentally change a lot of industry, how they currently work. So I actively tried to involve myself with events in London. So that's how I met Dagan at one of the flagship events hosted by London Blockchain Lab every year. It's the largest student-run blockchain annual event in Europe. It's called BIDE. So I met Dagan back in 2019. Is that right? And then I joined London Blockchain Lab subsequently and acted as the president at UCL. Yeah, that's my background. Welcome everyone to join us. Hope you can learn something interesting and insightful today.
Thanks, Elaine. That was great. And it's been a pleasure to have you with us over the years. Hugo.
Hi guys, I'm Hugo Marshall. I'm at LSE in my third year studying economics and philosophy. I suppose my story of blockchain was like quite a lot of people. I was tracking Bitcoin and Ethereum since well, since 2015, 2016, and just watching its progress. I got into blockchain in my first year at university when I joined LSE Blockchain Society, and then in second year I became part of the LBL committee. I'm now head of events. I'm also president of LSE Blockchain, and really my main focus is to organize events, mostly aimed at education. So we have a huge variation of events in terms of we have some for markets and trading, we have some for hackathons, we have some learning about blockchain and finance, in law. We've had people from Ethereum, we had the co-founder of Ethereum come and speak to us. And yeah, so the main idea really is to educate and inform as many students as possible about blockchain, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies, and hope that we can spread this knowledge among all the universities in London, but also all around the world.
Perfect. Thank you, Hugo. That was very nice. Viva, would you like to go next as co-head of
Yeah. So I'm Viva. I'm actually second year student at UCL. I joined last year London Blockchain Labs. I'm studying urban planning, design, and management. And so just to let you know that literally anyone from any background can join blockchain. I got into blockchain at around like 2016, 17, where I invested into Bitcoin, Ripple, and Ethereum. So I started getting very interested in the whole blockchain technology. And again, like within our society, within the different divisions, I'm vice head of events and education, but just this year I've joined the division of labs, which is more technical. I currently have very little experience in coding and etc. But the thing is, they're looking for people who are interested and have the drive to learn. So I do recommend you joining. It's been a great experience. You meet a lot of people, a lot of CEOs, very interesting networking experiences. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you. That was amazing. And Toshi, can I hand over to you?
Sure. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I am the president of LBL UCL, and I am also the head of the markets team. I have been looking at the blockchain and the markets through completely financial point of view. I invested in cryptocurrency since 2017, and now I am working on providing crypto services to institutional investors. Yeah, so the market is growing very rapidly, and it's diverging in different directions too. This year we have stable coins growing, non-fungible tokens growing, and decentralized finance growing. So there's still a lot to explore, I would say, in the markets, not just in the finance perspective, but also from the maybe just blockchain industry itself. So you're definitely in the right place if you want to get more involved in blockchain.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Toshi. And Bianca, I'll hand over to you. I would like to mention before that our leader of labs is currently away. Bianca's a new recruit to our labs team, and she can kind of go over what we're looking for in labs this year and her involvement.
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. I'm Bianca. I am a second year student at Imperial College. I study computing, and I've joined the labs recently, which is the technical team of the society. I'm here to represent today the labs because, as Dagan said, the technical director is not present, and I also work together with the president at Imperial College to organize the society at Imperial for this year. So, in terms of the labs, we have sort of organizing them based on terms. So if you want to join the technical team, you can expect that in the first term we would like to provide a foundation for everybody to set a syllabus to kind of have the same level of knowledge to begin working on projects. Then we have to we intend to have the second and third term to organize, to go to hackathons, to get involved into projects, into coding. So yeah, the labs have great intention when it comes to blockchain development and the technical aspects. So if you are really into that, or if you want to learn about that, you can have like a great desire to learn about that. You are more than welcome to apply, and we can see what we can do together. Yeah.
Thank you, Bianca. That was lovely as well. Yeah, we're really proud of our labs team. We actually won one of the prizes for the Future of Blockchain Hackathon last year, which is a 6-month-long hackathon. Our team won £3,000, and they also placed another division. So we have a very cool team. They're really capable. All of our teams are, from events to markets to business development and marketing. And yeah, you'll find out a bit more about how to apply later on if you're interested. And if not, you can rest assured that these are the people that will be providing lots of events for any member of LBL to attend all throughout the year, and all of our events are free. So there'll be more than enough learning opportunities for you if you're interested. Our Imperial Committee are currently studying in different time zones, and so they couldn't make the call today, but you'll also hear from them and meet them as well if you join us, or you'll see them at future events as well. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm going to keep going with the slides, and yeah, let me give you a little overview of what else we do at LBL. I need to get rid of this. Perfect. Also, if anyone has any questions, I'm going to open the floor to questions a bit later on, so you can ask as much as you want to ask, and we'll be happy to answer. Okay, so many of you might have heard of blockchain. Some of you might have a background or be somewhat familiar, and some of you might have absolutely no idea what it is or how it works at a more technical level. And so there's a lot of hype around blockchain. It's a bit of a buzzword. A lot of companies just use it. They throw it into their company names, and suddenly their stock goes through the roof. At least in 2017, that was the case with all the ICOs and the mania there. If you look at Long Island Iced Tea here, they were an iced tea company that added blockchain to their name, and their stock price went through the roof, a bit like the dot-com bubble back in the 2000s. And so there's a lot of smoke and a lot of rubbish around the blockchain space, but that don't let that distract you from all the actual real innovation and real talent that is in this industry. And some of the smartest minds from many amazing institutions are going straight into this industry because they see the potential, and they see the people working on the challenges within this sector. I mean, you can see Libra takes HSBC veteran. There are a lot of CEOs from big companies, even some from this morning. I'm not sure what company, but someone with 6 years of, someone with 6-7 years experience at Fidelity, one of their heads, has just joined Galaxy Digital. Mike Novogratz.
Galaxy Capital.
Galaxy
Novogratz,
Capital,
right?
Yeah, Novogratz, who's a massive ex-Goldman Sachs guy that runs this huge big hedge fund in the blockchain space. And so there's a lot of intersection between blockchain and traditional industries. And if you look at even DeFi over this summer, DeFi stands for decentralized finance, as opposed to centralized finance, which you might see from traditional banks and whatever. The amount of money locked up in the DeFi space at the start of the year was about 200 million, 300 million. And just in those, since January to now, it's hit 9 billion plus. That's a small amount compared to other industries, but it's very, the growth is insane. And this industry is just getting started. So yeah, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of interesting things in the blockchain space. And we advise you, we look forward to people kind of joining in, learning, and really realizing the potential, because it's a lot of students in the past, even when we were first setting up LBL, and the team who first set up LBL, a lot of them came from Berkeley, and Berkeley was where everything was going quite crazy, and a lot of people were just starting their own businesses, coming up with ideas and just launching new things, because yeah, blockchain is a bit like that. And it's funny because the smartest people in the space, the ones that know the most, are often the youngest people, the ones who come spend their time looking on the internet, learning and getting really involved and using the technology and using and just learning through usage. So much so to the extent that there was an adjunct, like a student made an adjunct professor at Berkeley because he was like 22 and he just knew the most about blockchain at that point in time a few years ago. And so it's very, very interesting place to be. And just because you're young or you're someone that isn't, I guess, established, doesn't mean you can't become very adept in this industry quite quickly. Although there's more competition now than there was back in 2017, 2018, because it's become a bit more mainstream. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. I have a nice little video that explains blockchain. We've shown it before. And I think it's just a good one to kind of get a general overview of like what blockchain is.
Many people think of blockchain as the technology that powers Bitcoin. While this was its original purpose, blockchain is capable of so much more. Despite the sound of the word, there's not just one blockchain. Blockchain is shorthand for a whole suite of distributed ledger technologies that can be programmed to record and track anything of value, from financial transactions to medical records or even land titles. You might be thinking, we already have processes in place to track data. What's so special about blockchain? Let's break down the reasons why blockchain technology stands to revolutionize the way we interact with each other. Reason number 1, the way it tracks and stores data. Blockchain stores information in batches called blocks that are linked together in a chronological fashion to form a continuous line, metaphorically, a chain of blocks. If you make a change to the information recorded in a particular block, you don't rewrite it. Instead, the change is stored in a new block, showing that X changed to Y at a particular date and time. Sound familiar? That's because blockchain is based on the centuries-old method of the general financial ledger. It's a non-destructive way to track data changes over time. Here's one example. Let's say there was a dispute between Anne and her brother Steve over who owns a piece of land that's been in the family for years. Because blockchain technology uses the ledger method, there is an entry in the ledger showing that Adam first owned the property in 1900. When Adam sold the property to Dave in 1930, a new entry was made in the ledger, and so on. Every change of ownership of this property is represented by a new entry in the ledger, right up until Anne bought it from their father in 2007. Anne is the current owner, and we can see that history in the ledger. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Unlike the age-old ledger method, originally a book, then a database file stored on a single system, blockchain was designed to be decentralized and distributed across a large network of computers. This decentralizing of information reduces the ability for data tampering and brings us to the second factor that makes blockchain unique. It creates trust in the data. Before a block can be added to the chain, a few things have to happen. First, a cryptographic puzzle must be solved, thus creating the block. The computer that solves the puzzle shares the solution to all of the other computers on the network. This is called proof of work. The network will then verify this proof of work, and if correct, the block will be added to the chain. The combination of these complex math puzzles and verification by many computers ensures that we can trust each and every block on the chain. Because the network does the trust building for us, we now have the opportunity to interact directly with our data in real time. And that brings us to the third reason blockchain technology is such a game changer: no more intermediaries. Currently, when doing business with one another, we don't show the other person our financial or business records. Instead, we rely on trusted intermediaries, such as a bank or lawyer, to view our records and keep that information confidential. These intermediaries build trust between the parties and are able to verify, for example, that, yes, Anne is the rightful owner of this land. This approach limits exposure and risk, but also adds another step to the exchange, which means more time and money spent. If Anne's land title information was stored in a blockchain, she could cut out the middleman, her lawyer, who would ordinarily confirm her information with Steve. As we now know, all blocks added to the chain have been verified to be true and can't be tampered with, so Anne can simply show Steve her land title information secured on the blockchain. Anne would save considerable time and money by cutting out the middleman. This type of trusted peer-to-peer interaction with our data can revolutionize the way we access, verify, and transact with one another. And because blockchain is a type of technology and not a single network, it can be implemented in many different ways. Some blockchains can be completely public and open to everyone to view and access. Others can be closed to a select group of authorized users, such as your company, a group of banks, or government agencies. And there are hybrid public-private blockchains too. In some, those with private access can see all the data, while the public can see only selections. In others, everyone can see all the data, but only some people have access to add new data. A government, for example, could use a hybrid system to record the boundaries of Anne's property and the fact that she owns it while keeping her personal information private. Or it could allow everyone to view property records, but reserve to itself the exclusive right to update them. It is the combination of all these factors, decentralizing of the data, building trust in the data, and allowing us to interact directly with one another and the data that gives blockchain technology the potential to underpin many of the ways we interact with one another. But, much like the rise of the internet, this technology will bring with it all kinds of complex policy questions around governance, international law, security, and economics. Here at the Center for International Governance Innovation, we seek to bring trusted research that will equip policymakers with the information they need to advance blockchain innovations, enabling economies to flourish in this new digital economy. Learn more about our work on blockchain technology by visiting our website and social media channels.
Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's a nice little introduction. I'm also going to, wait, let me move on to the next. I'm going to remove the waiting room, if I can. Or if someone else, I've made some of you, our other committee, like hosts, if you can work out how to disable the waiting room, that would be great. Perfect.
Just one more thing. I think some people may not have got the video for that, maybe just the audio. So Dagan, maybe I don't have the link, but could you put the link on the group chat for the video in case someone missed it for later?
Yeah.
Or just send it to me and I can do it.
It'll be on the slides, and you have the slides.
Someone's put it up. Brilliant.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, whoever did that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, nice. Okay, so continuing. As you can see, there's many different uses for blockchain. It's a very interesting technology, as the video said. It allows you to remove intermediaries. It allows us to do a lot of things that you needed a middleman before. One application is triple book account keeping, triple party account. I don't know. Basically, it's a way that you can audit things very easily, and like the whole like treasury and settlement desks at many banks are no longer so necessary, because you can, if anything on a blockchain can be made public or public to the people that you want to see it. And if that's the case, then you can verify that someone owns this, or something's gone from one person A to person B, and that can be from here to like many like miles overseas. Like it can be anywhere in the world very, very quickly, and you can confirm it just by viewing a blockchain. So that's like one example. There are many others, such as giving yourself an identity or an online identity, which is useful for opening bank accounts in like Africa or third world countries where people have less access to financial products. So yeah, that's in economics and finance, but you can also use it in supply chain management or many other places, such as art and like the holding of digital information, or holding of art pieces. And we're actually doing an event on the 28th on non-fungible tokens in the art space. And we've got a company coming to talk about, two companies coming to talk about their art platform. Three companies coming to talk about how they are using blockchain in the art world. So there's a diverse amount of applications, and yeah, like you'll kind of find that the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than you initially thought. Okay, like I know what Bitcoin is. I know people use it to buy drugs on the deep web or dark web. But there are so many more useful things that mankind, society can benefit from. And I think you'll find that interesting if you come to our events. Cool. So yeah, as you can see, it's applied in many different places. I kind of talked about this already, so I'm going to skip forwards. Healthcare is a really interesting one. Voting would be good if you can use, if like in the future, say 10 years down, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon with all like Trump in America. But you could make voting systems where you can confirm who has voted, seeing that everyone has one exact vote and that the vote has only come from, like, there's only been one vote. So you can get rid of electoral fraud and you can get rid of any doubt that maybe like Russia has interfered or someone has changed our elections and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, the company I was working with, Summer, actually specializes in creating derivative products via decentralized derivative trading products over blockchain. So that's a lot of cool things. Here are some more headlines. Not going to bore you with these, but it's interesting industry. Here are some of my statistics. There are many, many job applications for blockchain developers. They're paid quite well as well. I think the starting pay is quite high. And like very few people actually have the skills and the capability to work in this industry. And it's growing fast. The demand is high. And also because of like COVID and everything that we have now, there's a lot of remote work. So a lot of the companies are based in like San Francisco or in Silicon Valley or just various places in the world, like Malta or yeah, Malta's a big blockchain hub, Estonia too, and some other countries. But now you can, like, with the whole way the economy is going, you can work online. If you have the skill set, it's very, very valuable, and you could take that anywhere in the world. Yeah. So what would your typical journey be with LBL? You would engage with us, become aware of blockchain community and connect with peers. We then usually have weekly events and workshops held at the universities of London. We will have less in-person events this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, by Lent term, we can start doing our in-person events. And if all goes well, we should have our big flagship conference again in April. March or April, it depends, year by year we change it. But this year it was supposed to be April and it never happened because of COVID. And yeah, you will learn how to come to our workshops, come to our events. We have a really cool event software this year as well. It's called Airmeet, which is a this Indian startup, which recently got 12 million in funding for their idea. They basically have a really cool events conference platform. So we're going to be doing our future events via Airmeet. And we actually had our first event before term started back in September on Airmeet alongside a company called Vega, who I worked with. So yeah, you'll learn, and then you can work with companies. The labs team does this especially. But we're like trying basically if you can bring the idea to the table, or you can like establish a partnership with a company, even in the markets team or the events team, you can begin working with them, and people are really, really keen. For instance, we have a really good relationship with Consensus, and we've been working with them for a while. And yeah, even Deloitte came in to do our bootcamp like 2 years ago. And we know the guys at Cardano, we know people in lots of different places. Ripple sponsored us for our big Deconstructing DeFi, which you'll see later, which was last March and was one of our biggest events this year. So we're very connected, and it's a cool place to be if you want to talk to these companies and you wouldn't otherwise know how to reach out to them. And then, yeah, you can get hired. Many people in our team have gone off to work in blockchain fields. Some have gone into traditional fields, but then they have the expertise in blockchain. For instance, say you go into consulting and you're working in various different industries. Maybe one day your blockchain industry comes in very useful and you're like, oh, okay, I learned about this at LBL, and like this company can use X, Y, or Z, and then you work with someone else to implement it. Yeah, some people just come to our events to understand it, to get an idea of what this industry is, and they go and do their own thing. So it really depends what you're looking to get out of this. But it's a cool place to be. So what do? We have 4 different teams. The formatting and business development's a bit off, but events and education, business development, which is a smaller team, labs, which is a huge one, and markets. And also marketing, which is kind of included in events and education. So yeah, these teams you'll learn a lot more about when I go over our application pack a bit later. So I'm going to skip through this. different ways to learn. This year it's a bit different because of COVID, but we have internal meetups for the LBL committee, and they're the people that will join our internal team, and that will be the boot camp going over like basic blockchain technology and kind of getting everyone up to speed and so that they're on the same level. So that when we talk to companies or other people in the space, we're confident that anyone from our team that we send or who goes and represents us kind of knows what they're talking about. We tend then do a speaker series every year, and Hugo, as head of events, helps organize that alongside Genevieve. And there we get we get lots of different speakers in the blockchain space. I don't want to keep going over myself, but yeah, we have interesting people coming to talk, such as the co-founder of Cardano, or we had like some of the biggest names from Ripple back in March. And lots of interesting people. We even did a big conference in Consensus headquarters back in February. So it's a lot of cool speakers you get and people that are really, really in the space. We do hackathons too. We both launch our own hackathons and we enter hackathons such as the Future of Blockchain competition. And we also, our team went to ETH London this year. And that was the first time I think Vitalik has actually been, Vitalik's one of the co-founders of Ethereum. First time he's actually been back to London, like in London, like the last 4 or 5 years. And so we got to see him live, and we got to speak with some of the prominent people in the Ethereum space. And yeah, we enter those things. And then we do our big conference, typically one a year. And that takes a good amount of work to pull off, but it's always really worth it, just because of all the people that you'll meet and the companies we work with. So yeah, these are previous highlights. I mentioned the Cardano one. BIDE was our first conference. It was the biggest conference of that sort in Europe. We held it at Imperial College. We had the vice chairman of Barclays, CEO of Outlier Ventures, a big VC we work with, and some people from UCL CBT, which is the Center of Blockchain Technologies. They're more like the professional level blockchain people at UCL, they're researchers. And then we also launched a social innovation hackathon back in March, a year ago. I actually organized that one. And we did that with LSE Generate, who are like the LSE startup kind of people, and they helped fund that. Other events, Trusted 2020 was a big proof of stake validator summit. So if you're interested in like learning how to stake yourself, running your own staking nodes and getting paid for doing so, that event was all about that. And if you're actually interested in that, if you look on Dystopia Labs website, so that's Dystopia Labs here, they put all the information from those conferences online for free. And so we did that in Consensus headquarters. It was open to the public, and it was a very, very cool event. Consensus is an enterprise Ethereum company that helps like consult companies on how to incorporate Ethereum, and it was set up by one of the other co-founders of Ethereum. Deconstructing DeFi was actually our biggest event this year. It was supposed to be our conference, but COVID cancelled that. But this we actually ran on the 7th of March, which was the week before LSE shut down and all the other universities shut down. And we had lots of people flying in from loads of different countries. This spring team came in from, I think, San Francisco. I'm not sure, don't quote me. But it was a really, really cool event. It was a whole day thing. We had people hacking in one room and working on different projects with Spring. We had loads of cool talks and panel discussions, and you'll get to be right in the middle of this, organizing it and working with the teams to do that, and also working with the companies directly too. And that's pretty cool. Especially if you want to work with them at a later point. And this is another example of an event we did. Hugo actually organized this one. And it was blockchain and fintech, where we covered many, many different things. With Keith Bear, who's actually spoke at our previous conference as well. He's a very prominent guy in the space. He used to work at IBM and was leading their blockchain operations there. Cool. So this is, yeah, an example for what we were doing in 2017-18, just like working, getting hired, and kind of an example of the process you could go through if you were to join LBL, more on like the technical side of things. And so, yeah, moving on to applications. We have a careful selection process. We give every application lots of care and attention. But yeah, basically, applications will be open at the end of this call. We really look forward to the people we see that apply to us. There's an interview process which will be on Zoom this year, and we'll be with 1 or 2 people from our team. and we'll just ask you some basic motivational questions. If you're applying for labs, there'll be more technical questions. If you're going for the more technical side of things, if you declare that you're not that technical but you're interested, we'll tailor it to that. But we have like a default set of questions, and then we'll be kind of grading you guys and then giving you the results of your applications. In our first year of running, or second year, we had like 200 plus applications, and that's for 30 spaces. Recently, I expect less this year because of COVID and everything that's going on. Yeah, it's fairly competitive. So we advise you to apply early. We recruit on a rolling basis, and we want the most motivated people that are, the bright and motivated people that really want to give their time to LBL this year and kind of develop themselves, but also develop LBL as a brand and as what it is. And yeah, the worst thing you can do is apply and promise you're going to do lots of work and then drop out quite quickly, because some people just, I don't know, they just want it for their LinkedIn, or they're not actually looking to learn. And so we can't try to keep it small, because we want the best. We want people that are really, really motivated. And we will try and meet your goals as well as you meeting ours. It's more of and we want it to be mutually beneficial for everyone that applies, and we want you to get as much of the process as you want. And if at any point you feel like you're not getting what you originally signed up for, you can like just start the conversation with us, because we're really keen to make this work for you guys. So that's what I was talking about and what we're looking for. Committed individuals that we say a minimum of 7 hours per week. This really does vary. It's not always 7 hours. Sometimes it's much less, sometimes it's more. But basically, when the times get tough and we're up to a lot of things are going on at once, we want people that we can depend on, and we don't want you to disappear and be like, okay, I know I signed up for this, but I have a dance class. And I'm on the committee for Dance Society, and like I run all the dance events at LSE as well. And like I also manage to do all this. So you should, we want people that are committed, and like we'll put this as one of their priorities if it's something that they're needed for. So if you're running an event, or if you're on the labs team and you're working on a project, we don't want you to sign up, say you're going to do something and then not actually put the hours in. We want people that want to learn, want to work on real projects, be at the heart of the blockchain community, and have a real passion for this. And you'll be rewarded for doing so, as we'll send opportunities your way. So our applications are now open. Well, not now, they'll be open in like 30 minutes. We want you guys to apply by October the 21st, which is 2 weeks today. And the next week, we won't be doing interviews, but after that, once we'll see the applications, we'll start interviewing people. And then from there, we'll be giving out decisions, and then we'll be inviting you guys to our exclusive bootcamp, and you can get working with us for the year ahead. I'm going to do a quick Q&A now. Actually, no, I'm not going to do a Q&A. I'm going to go through our application back, and then I'm going to do a Q&A, just because some of the questions you might have might be answered in the applications. Thank you for the welcome session, but we're not finished yet. So this is our application pack. And these slides will be available on, we're going to have them online. So when you apply on the Google form, you're going to be able to see this pack as well. There'll be a link to it, and you can scroll through in your own time and go through everything just as many times as you need, so that you're clear on what we're looking for. So we're LBL. I've told you what we are, what we do already. We want you guys to learn, engage, learn, work, get hired. These are the teams that we have this year: events, education, markets, labs, marketing, public relations, and business development. These are our 3 biggest teams, and these ones kind of augment these teams. And the directors, obviously, are the presidents of the societies and the ones that kind of sit in the middle of everything. And you guys can become directors if you're like in one of the various teams and you work really well with us, and you're someone that wants to take more of a leadership position in the future. You can, of course, become one of our directors in the year ahead. Yeah, cool. So, events and education. Hugo, would you like to give a little to talk over this section and what exactly we're looking for in events this year, and maybe include a bit about COVID as well, and just our plans for online events rather than our in-person stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been running the events team since, well, basically the whole of this year. We got off to a good start for a good 3 months, and then COVID hit and we were a bit disrupted. But within that 3 or 4 months, we got quite a few events going. And the best thing about the events that we run is that we can kind of go within any kind of sector. So we did anything from a trading seminar run by Toshi, which was very successful. We learned how to apply technical analysis to trading cryptocurrencies. We had hackathons, which I wasn't involved in organizing, but the labs team did an excellent job doing hackathons and doing very well with them. But what I was mostly involved with was reaching out to people either in the blockchain space or in the in the normal space, who were then looking to learn or present on blockchain. And we had people from the blockchain sector. 2 seconds, someone's just knocked on my door. Oh no, they're not coming in. Okay. Apologies, someone's just come in. Okay, so we had the best event probably would have been blockchain and finance with Keith Bear, who has basically had a whole lifetime in fintech and has started with advising companies such as IBM or Elixir of how to kind of strategize the move from conventional finance to finance using DLT and blockchain. We had one on the legal side of blockchain as well, which was really, really interesting. But basically, there's no limit to the events that we can run, apart from the fact that we can't do them in person at the moment. The aim is for that to all change by next calendar year. But we've had not much stopping us online. And the best thing about the online events is that you can reach out to people all over the world. So either people presenting, I've reached out to Vitalik Buterin, and he might be happy to speak again. I've reached out to people in America, in China, and we're really excited to see what that can hold. But also it means that anyone around the world can watch the event and can connect. And our hope this year is to make London Blockchain Labs as global as possible. So if you're interested in joining events, please, contact me. We will apply through the conventional route, and if you have anything to bring, we'd be very, very happy to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugo. That was great. Yeah, one other thing is remember, you can use it how you wish to use it. So if you want, like, say there's someone at a certain company you've always wanted to reach out to, but you have no means to, if you have a really good idea for an event and that person would be the speaker, you can reach out to that company and have a way in that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And yeah, if you use like LBL in a smart way, you can really further what you're interested in and bring what you want to the table, provided the rest of the team kind of agrees with what you're suggesting. And usually we do. We're very rarely like shoot something down, or we adapt something if it's suggested, and it's different to what we're looking for at this point in time. But yeah, there's a lot of potential. So then we have public relations and business development. I'll talk through this. Actually, Elaine, do you want to? There's not much to say, I think, so much this year. But you will be, you'll be the point of contact between us and external companies. Events will be doing that a lot as well. But you kind of manage our negotiations with companies for sponsorship, helping if we need someone to be the communication person between us and other companies, the events team will kind of put the event together, and they might do the initial reaching out, and then the business development public relations team will take over and often manage our partnerships and our communications with those people, but also longer term partnerships. So if we do something for a couple of months, so we're working with a company on a longer term basis. For instance, right now we are working with Flow very, very closely. And Flow are they're the guys that created CryptoKitties, which was a huge hit 2-3 years ago on Ethereum. And it was basically a trading game where you could trade NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and they are like kitties that you could breed and blah, 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 and they had real value. So we're currently in touch with them, and I message them a lot, and we talk about the events we're running, and we're running a program with them from November the 2nd, which you'll hear more about if you keep in touch, like keep on our social medias. So essentially, you'll be managing those sorts of relations with companies, but also reaching out to other companies, starting new relations. And we're trying to get a better relationship with like Ethereum, and we would like them to perhaps like sponsor or give us grants for some of the things we're working on. And so you'll be kind of reaching out to these companies, looking at nurturing those relationships, and yeah, being our like being a face of LBL. But yeah, is someone? Could I ask that you mute yourself if you just joined? Thank you. Marketing. So our marketing team are responsible for our multimedia content. Adja, do you want to speak a little bit if you're on the call?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys.
Perfect.
So I was responsible for the marketing team last year, and basically what we do is organize all of the different marketing campaigns for different events that we hold, and we're responsible for all the newsletters that we send out each week as well. And I think it's really beneficial if you're A, interested in marketing, or B, if you have some experience in creative digital design, or even if you really like writing or art, I think that would be a plus as well. And we also work really closely with the events team. So anytime there's an event, you can definitely be on the site, you know, completely immersed in that environment as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you to apply to marketing.
Thank you, that's perfect. And yeah, this year I would say marketing is especially important because we are online mostly completely online this term. And so the way people see us and find us is through how good our marketing is. If our marketing is really bad, we can make the best events in the world, but no one's going to come to them. So we're looking to hire a fair few people for marketing. And that's for each of the individual universities. So you can be responsible for the effort at UCL, LSE, or Imperial, or even just general. And then someone for newsletters, someone to manage different social medias, from like our Instagram to our Twitter to our even like helping with our Discord channel, or like helping around with our the different ways we reach out to people. So I really would stress that this is really important. And if you're in marketing, you're also attached to events. So check out marketing. Markets, Toshi, come and speak to us.
Okay. Markets. So this year, the market team will be hiring the most people. This is to meet the demand. The blockchain industry and digital assets are growing at a rapid paces. Therefore, the demands for the analysts are increasing too. We're mainly looking for 3 divisions of talents. One is macro analysts, who would be absorbing and studying large cap digital assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is not just to chase around their prices and make speculation, but also study their economics, such as fee structures, miners activities, and on-chain analysis, etc., etc., etc. And the other is exotic market analysts, who will be researching DeFi platforms, non-fungible tokens, as well as some stable coins and central bank issued stable coins. It's more exotic and exciting and fun. We have approved a large sum of budget for this division this year, so we can experience on those new platforms ourselves. If you don't want to stake your own money. Finally, we're looking for people who do more general market research. For this role, you would be researching. We will be sharing ideas. Maybe help people writing, coming up with dissertation ideas. Let's say you want to investigate what a specific digital asset company, such as the Galaxy Digital Dagan was talking about earlier, which has 10 to 20 subsidiaries in all blockchain businesses. Or you want to look into central bank policies with blockchain, Bitcoin, and stable coins. So the idea with our team is that we want to stay away from being random scams on Twitter and actually prepare people to think like a professional trader or how an individual in the finance market would think and approach the blockchain and crypto markets. And that's all.
Perfect. Thank
Come
you,
to
Toshi.
markets.
Come to markets. I actually started LBL when I first joined 3 years ago. I started in the markets team, and it's a very cool team. We have a Medium account, which you can find on our website as well. And you can check out some of the articles we've written in the past. We're looking for people to write more articles and look and dive deep into different areas of crypto. And also you can provide like educational content from your articles can go out to our audience, and people can read how your take on these different markets and just how you think things are going to go in the future, or just a look into a different kind of coin or something like that. You'll also be quite active.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, sure.
If you do apply for a certain team or sector, it doesn't confine you just to that one sector. So if you're interested in if you're in events and you're interested in studying the markets or labs, you're very welcome to. Obviously, it might take up a bit more time if you commit yourself to both, but as long as you're showing interest and committing to one, and then there's nothing stopping you from helping out or learning from other teams as well.
Yeah, that's very true. Hugo's a big example of that, as he he was the head of events, and he's very much involved in the markets team. He does a lot with markets, and he's grown a lot in the last year just in his market knowledge. So if you're interested, there's space for you. You just need to show the drive and show like you actually bring something to the team, even if it's just a passion and a willingness to do stuff. So yeah, labs, I think this is our last one. Bianca, you're representing John. If you're still here, would you like to talk a bit about labs and what we're looking for?
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about labs. Basically, I'll pass on the message that the technical director has to say about the labs. So what we're looking for, it's people who have technical knowledge in blockchain, but if you do not have that great technical knowledge, that's fine. As long as you can, have the resources to obtain this knowledge very fast, or have the desire to obtain this knowledge very fast, and we can help with that. We don't have specific roles at this moment, because the idea of the technical director was to all of us to start with common knowledge, and to cover some topics such as the history and context of blockchains, the problem consensus network solve, cryptographic aspects, then to study more about public and private permissionless blockchains, and then fundamentals of a contract or solidity. So the idea is that all of us have like a common syllabus, and then everybody can decide to study something more. For example, we can have focus tracks. So say we are like, I don't know, 10 people, we can split 5 to 5 and look, I like identity. So I'll have, I'll take the lead here, and I'll have a team into identity. We will work on project and that. So that's why we listed, you can be a software developer, you can do research, you can try to lead projects. The idea is that the labs should be member driven in the spirit of distributed ledgers, and every member can take the lead at some point, and lead a project, or propose an idea, and who wants to join will join from the main lab team. So so if it looked like something that you like to do, if you have technical knowledge, or you have any kind of idea, you are welcome to present that in your application as well. So we are really looking forward to form a great team that's involved in the labs this year.
Thank you, Bianca. That was a really, really good overview. To add to that, John, who is the leader of labs, he's been with LBL from the very beginning, so 3 years as well. He's very, very knowledgeable in the space. He's completed his master's at UCL, and works in, again, a company that works in this kind of space. and he's like literally gives his time to come and teach us and to come back and like make sure we're and just nurture a team and help us grow. So yeah, he's a very cool person to learn from. And yeah, it's the labs team is a lot more open this year as well. It's not so much just a select few. We're trying to open it up and then just have people focusing on different tracks. You'll be doing like a Web3 development program in the first term where you'll learn a lot, and then from there we go and work on our own things. We'll probably be entering the Future of Blockchain competition again this year, which we enter with our sponsors run in Code Club, who also have a big like university blockchain kind of hub. They have a Discord channel too, which you can check out. And yeah, that's a 6-month long hackathon, or 3-month long. It changes each year, but I think it's 6 months last year. Yeah, we'll probably have a team entering that, and there are like real cash prizes for the winners of that. And then we'll be entering other things. We even might, if we have the capacity, because we did this 2 years ago, we'd like to run a consulting arm, and the consulting arm will like work with companies and kind of help them implementing blockchain technology and whatever they're up to. So there's a lot of potential. You just kind of have to apply, get involved, and suggest ideas, or we have ideas coming from the team, and there's a lot you can do. Yeah, I think that's it. This is the slide you saw from the previous PowerPoint. Essentially, we want you guys to apply, even if you think you are someone that you might not get in, or you don't think you have enough knowledge. I can't stress enough that passion is very important. Like if you really have the drive, and you can even from now, like spend the next few days just researching blockchain technology, reading a few, you can find PDF documents online with like blockchain information courses, or there are books too. Like the Bitcoin Standard is a good one to read. Just start learning and then like apply, and then we'll interview you. And if we can really see your passion shine through in your drive, then you may have a better chance than someone that knows a lot but doesn't actually want to give a lot. So yeah, the application process is an online form, which we'll share later on today. Then there'll be interviews, then you'll be fitting into a specific team. But as you heard, LBL is fairly open, but that team will be mainly what you'll be doing in the first term. Apply now in like 20 minutes. And yeah, I'll share the link. It will be on our Facebook, and we will share it around our other networks as well. Now I can open to Q&A. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to stop screen sharing, and then we're open to any questions from the audience. No questions.
Hi, I have a question.
Perfect.
Sorry, my video is not perfect, but yeah, I just wanted to know about, so do you do like workshops and stuff so we can learn how to code on blockchains and stuff like that? And how do they work as well?
We do. Firstly, we organize workshops ourselves. We had a bunch on Web3J, which is Web3 JavaScript, at Imperial last year, and people from Polkadot actually came in and they were teaching our team, like anyone who attended, they brought their laptops and they kind of went through I'm not sure what they did, but they were working on Web3J, and I can't code myself, but everyone else who was there can. And we also work with our other partners, such as Dystopia Labs, who do huge workshops, like global workshops, and sometimes we host viewing parties for those. So there's a lot of work. There are a lot of workshops. Yeah, we do internal things for our team, like in the first week, and that's just to get everyone to speed. But then all of our events going forwards are public events that anyone can attend, and they're supposed to be educational. So you'll definitely learn a lot just by coming, like being involved in attending. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Do we have any other questions?
Hi, this is Achen. I'm actually an MBA student from Singapore, but I am doing my MBA partially online because it's part of the GMBA program. So I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on members who are potentially going to be out of London for the next year, given the global situation?
We like members from like anywhere in the globe. Typically, it's our universities in London, and then we also take University of London students too. If you have a good value add or like a strong work ethic, I advise you to apply either way. We'll have a conversation with you if your application's good and we take you to interview. We'll have the conversation with you there, and then maybe there's other ways that you can add value to us and we can help you as well. If you're in Singapore and you have your own university blockchain club, we could also collaborate with your club and do events with you. But if not, you can perhaps work with us. But I would still advise you to apply, because there's often good synergies with many other people abroad. Like we've worked with people from like New York, or like people in America, people in various different like Asia as well. So why not have one in our internal team if they are good, if they're capable?
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. I'm actually an MBA student at Imperial. It's just
okay, fine.
Yeah, just that there are travel restrictions, so I'm not sure if it's going to work. But yeah, sure, I'll apply. Thanks.
Okay. Just so you know, in our application form, we have a question that says, are you going to be based in London, or are you going to be somewhere else this year? So you can, if you're remote, that's fine too. It's just we need to make sure you're committed and it will work with us. But we will take remote applications as well, yes.
Cool, thanks.
There's a question on participating if like as just a regular member. If you just want to be a member and you don't want to be, or I think Viva's answered it in the chat, but just to reiterate, you can pay the membership for your university society. They vary by society. Like LSE is £2, UCL might be £1 or £2, but it's £5. Imperial I think might be free. But just sign up to the society of the university, like us on all our social medias, and you'll be allowed to come to our events. You can technically come to our events even if you don't buy membership at the university, but we appreciate your support if you do, and you'll receive all our newsletters in that case. But you can also just find us online too.
There's a question I could answer if that's okay.
Yeah.
If you need a computer science background to join the labs, and as discussed with the technical director, it is not required to have a computer science background. We are trying to, make it possible for people who don't have, extreme coding background, to be able to learn the principles of coding, the technical aspects. So definitely not, but just so you know, it would require a commitment from you to be able to study the coding part, the technical aspects more in depth than maybe somebody with computer science background or a relevant degree. But it is not required. I encourage you to apply. If you want to learn the technical parts, then feel free to join.
Rohan has a question about my work. So yeah, I spent the summer working at Vega. I was the first person they've taken as like an intern, or just someone who, I don't know, they didn't hire specifically, but I've known their team for 2 years. I actually met them at a conference I went to on decentralized finance, and I worked in their community team. So I was basically doing everything from, I set up their Discord server. I was creating blockchain resources for people. I was doing the onboarding sessions for their testnet. I was responding to advertisers and doing their PR. Like I was doing lots of different things. And I really got to grips with the product they created, their testnet. And I also actually ran a massive conference with them, which I did in association with LBL, and that was deconstructing derivatives. And I hosted that. It was a 7-hour conference on YouTube. You can find it. I hosted the thing the entire day. So I did a lot with them, and they're a really cool bunch. And we may do events with them this year too. Yeah, but I literally met them because I went to a blockchain conference, and I met someone at their company that had the same academic advisor as me at LSE. So if you just get involved, like just by meeting people, you get offered jobs. and other people have also like been just reaching out because I've just been in the space. So yeah, you can get a lot from this just by being around. And I still am working with them. So yeah.
I can add to that as well. This summer, one of our partners, Outlier Ventures, basically had a big round of investments with lots of startups, mostly in DeFi, but all around Web3 and crypto and everything. And I was assigned to help one of the startup companies, and I learned huge amounts about the world of DeFi. I was in at the perfect time where it was literally exploding, new things happening every day. And yeah, it was a fantastic experience, and one of many possible routes you can go down through LBL or through blockchain.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I was just curious about your thoughts on blockchain for social impact. That's something I'm really interested in. And I'm just about to start the MRes PhD program in the UCL's Security and Crime Science Department. And I've been doing research on the UN World Food Programme, and they're using building blocks, and they're looking at, well, they're using blockchain technology to help refugees. But it's the, obviously in the video, they talk about one of the key benefits of blockchain is the disintermediation part of blockchain. But a lot of companies and organizations are turning to the centralized part or use of blockchain because of the benefits of that. And so, but then obviously that counteracts the original intention of, or the potential of blockchain technology. So I was just curious about your thoughts on this use, or perhaps maybe do you think it's too early for organizations to be using it for social impact? Is there more development that needs to be done? Yeah, anything you have to say really on blockchain for social impact? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. And also if applying for London Blockchain Labs, if you have any kind of events and advice about that part of blockchain.
Hi, Christy. Thank you for your comment. Your question. I'm not specialized in the more like the development side, but I do say that a lot of international organizations are indeed applying blockchain technology in their day-to-day activity. So, for instance, IMF has issued bonds in private Ethereum chain, and it's completely okay, I think, to, how should I say, use blockchain in, how should I say, enterprise-based blockchain rather than always using public chain, because different blockchain technology serves different purposes. In terms of impact, what was it? Impact investment.
Yeah, so for for social impact is a buzz. Yeah, I guess the buzz term that has been.
Yes, I'm not too sure about the social impact of blockchain just yet. But what comes up to my mind is if you look into what's happening, what has the horrible inflation that's been happening in Venezuela. There are people sending now, because they have US sanctions. Well, the people can now, instead of sending dollars, they can send blockchains between to the people in Venezuela. And I think that is one function of social impact brought by the blockchain technology, isn't it? Yeah, that's what my opinion.
Yeah, I also would like to chip in. And Elaine, were you about to say something? No.
No, I was just thinking about now because of the advancement of blockchain and everyone is super excited about it. It seems that every chance we get to use blockchain, we should jump on and use it. But actually, no. I think before we think about adopting blockchain, we really need to understand how and where blockchain can be used to add value, because sometimes it's just not commercially viable, or it doesn't make sense to use blockchain. We can just, the traditional method of data management or data storage work well. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's a very good take. Yeah, there's blockchain as like a buzzword, and just put blockchain into your company, and then like you got to just like see the actual use for it. But to answer your question more on social development, a lot of companies are using blockchain technology for remittance payments. And I don't know if you've been in the UK, but you can see some buses where they have like, oh, remittance payments using Ripple technology. If you look at a company called Stellar, they've been going for a while, and they're about banking the unbanked and helping people set up bank accounts in countries that don't have so much access to traditional finance. That's a company called Stellar. And yeah, there's definitely like work going on. It's even for like giving to charity. You can make it so that you can give charitable donations, and you can see the money that's like, you can actually confirm that your money's gone from this address to that address. And this, if the other address is owned by this, if the other charity proves that they own this address, then you know your money's going to the right place and it's not being lost along the way. You're being given like to Oxfam coming in the middle, paying their employees or whatever. Not that they shouldn't pay their employees, but like you never know where the money's actually going. But yeah, firstly, there's a lot going on and it's worth looking into. That's kind of what I know off the top of my head. And secondly, if you apply to join the events education team, you could be the person that leads an event on this, and you can actually reach out to people that are working directly on this, and you could have us running a big event on this very, very topic. So yeah, we kind of, if that's like what you're interested in and you apply to events with that as in your mind, that is what we will allow you to do. And that's kind of, that you're realizing, you'll see it in person as your event actually becomes a reality.
Thank you.
No problem. Any final questions?
There's a question in the chat. Maybe you could answer it better. Just to confirm, do we need to make an application to labs to learn about the technical side of blockchain?
So the best way to learn about the technical side would be through applying to labs and actually working with the team. But if you apply to labs, that's a big time commitment, right? 7 hours plus a week, maybe more, maybe less, depending on what you're needed for. You will be able to learn about the technical side of things from our public events, and just by getting involved in everything we do. But we can't guarantee that you will learn like a structured program. Like you will learn, if you can't, like even like we're launching a program with Flow from the 2nd of November. And that will be a really good technical program where you'll kind of go from like the beginnings of using NFTs and blockchains, and like how they've got a whole like it's a program that lasts from November the 2nd till Christmas, and that's like a weekly program where you're working directly with the Flow team, and they will help you get up to speed on that in that area. But yeah, best way being in the labs team. Second, third best way is attending all of our events and maybe getting involved with the Flow program or any other programs we have throughout the year, because sometimes things just pop up or someone reaches out to us and says, hey, let's do a series on this, and then we end up running that series, and then you'll learn more that way. But yeah,
what I was gonna say is maybe like if you don't feel comfortable with the technical side just at the moment, maybe go into events and either marketing, you're gonna learn a ton, you're gonna put your knowledge into questioning, you're gonna start like developing more of a kind of understanding of what blockchain is. And after you're really interested in what blockchain is, then learn a bit by yourself, maybe do a course or whatever it is that you need to in-depth your knowledge. And once you have a solid base of blockchain, then go into a labs team. That's what I would recommend, because that's what I've done. And I'm gonna go into a labs team because I already have a base knowledge of blockchain.
Yeah. Any further questions? I don't think there's anything else. Okay, well, I'd like to close by saying thank you all for coming. We really appreciate your presence today. I hope you learned a little bit and you're considering joining us for the year ahead. even if you're not, do buy membership at your respective university. And yeah, find us on our social medias and you'll be invited to all our future events free of charge. Would love to see more of you guys. And I can't stress enough that it's worth getting involved if you're interested. Also check out our Discord channel. We're quite active there. You can find Toshi there almost all the time, and you'll be able to ask questions on whatever you're interested in, or just if the person isn't there, we can refer you to the right person on the channel and they will be able to help you with what you're looking for. That's all. Oh, Pajit, you've been hiding. He was on the committee for LSE and I would have introduced him, but I just didn't see him. But yeah, Pajit's also one of our
it's okay.
No problem. He's one of our amazing members and really cool guy. But yeah, can I ask that the committee stay on the chat, and then everyone else, that's the end of the meeting. That's the end of the welcome session. And we're gonna post the application back in about 20-30 minutes or so. All the best, have a lovely evening, and thank you for attending.